Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Smalltalk The Podcast. I am so excited that you guys have chosen to tune in with us on today. I'm so excited that you've been a constant supporter and that you are here with Smalltalk The brand. Guys, I am just living life right now. I mean, it is amazing. I have my podcast, more merch is on the way. Guys, I am loving what is happening, and I have to give all thanks and credit and honor to God because He is the one who has made all of this possible. Guys, I hope that you have been tuning in with us, and if not, if you've missed an episode, I challenge you, I want you to go back to what you have missed. Guys, our last episode was M and M and M, and that discussed the 3 M's of Black History Month: Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, and Malcolm X. I tore that apart and I dissected and understood and tried to get my viewers to understand while these were 3 different men, they had many similarities though. They had many things that they had in common. And so I wanted you guys to understand that the 3 M's of Black History Month, while they were different, while we look at them as different human beings, they really had much in common. Guys, today, I have an amazing episode for you all on today, and I can't wait to share what it's about. Guys, I was literally in the car on my way to a service with my family. Special shout out to Aunt Erica, my mom, Paris, my mom, and my Uncle Melvin, my pastor, Bishop Melvin Easley Jr. Guys, I was on my way to a service, and this podcast episode was birthed in the car. It was. And we discussed the ministry of no. How to say no. When should I say no? Because I'm a yes man, and I will say yes to everything. I will try to do everything. But I had to come to the realization these past couple of weeks that I need rest, one, and that I cannot do everything. I've noticed that when I'm overwhelming myself and overworking myself and trying to do so much, that is when I'm drained. That is when all falls apart and crumbles. So today's episode is the ministry of no. So let's get started. Like I said, I'm the true definition of a yes man. However, I had to realize that in life, that while I may want to do many things, that I simply cannot do everything. So juggling ministry life, my new job that I have, juggling with college and learning the piano, and just a social life, relationships and friendships. It's been quite difficult, quite difficult. And like I said, I came to the realization, Monyae, you can't do everything. And because of that, I noticed that I cannot say yes to everything. I'm the type of person that will say yes to 11 jobs. And I cannot do 11 jobs as one man. I cannot. So guys, I'm trying right now in my life. I'm trying, although it's something I've always done, I'm trying to take a step back and not do so many things. So while I try to do many things at once, we are in a generation where we like to multitask, We like to do 2, 3, 4 things at once. And guys, when you're multitasking and when you're trying to do different things at once, ultimately one thing is going to get more of your attention. One thing is going to get more of your attention. So as I think that I'm juggling and I'm doing 5 things, really one of the things that I'm doing is getting most of the attention, and the other things are really taking the back burner. And I noticed I don't want anything to take the back burner, but I want to be committed, focused on one thing at one time. So while we think that multitasking is good and multitasking is great, guys, sometimes it's good to literally take the step back, sit back, and just do one thing. And do that one thing with excellence, with ease, and make sure that you are hitting the nail on the head with that one thing that you are trying to do. So it's important to know that if we want to get things done, we must take the necessary time, to focus on what we need to accomplish. We have to take the necessary time to focus on what it is that we need to accomplish. So how can we learn to say no? That seems hard. How do we say no to things that we want to do, things that we yearn to do, things that we think that we're supposed to be doing? But in all honesty, guys, God calls us to certain things. And the certain things that God calls us to, it's important to know that God hasn't called us to everything. But because God has a specific plan for each of us, because God has a specific purpose for each of our lives, it's important to understand and recognize that God has not called us to do everything. While I may be a singer, God has not called me to sing, dance, preach, take the offering, and do so many other things. Now, to put this in terms naturally, while I may be called to record podcasts, God hasn't called me to work with cameras, to work with lighting, to do all those things. But sometimes I have to bring in other people to help me and get these things done. So how do I say no to the things that I want to do, but that I understand and recognize that I just cannot do? I have 3 questions that I have for you guys. So think of these questions before you say yes to any task. The first question number 1. How is this benefiting me? How is this task that I'm about to put myself to do, how is this task benefiting me? Is it benefiting me in a good way? Is it benefiting me in a bad way? Guys, how is the task that you want to do benefiting you? Second question, do I have time to put 100% effort into this? Guys, like I said, I had to realize that I was not giving 100%. And whatever I do, I want to give 100%. So if I'm not, able to give 100% to that thing, I can't do it. And thirdly, the last question, is this good for my mental health? Guys, we live in a world, we live in an age where mental illness is real, where we need to focus on our mental health. Guys, if you don't take the time to rest, if you don't take the time to ease yourself and do certain things, if you don't take the time to think, is this benefiting me in a healthy way, guys, we will fall apart. And we do not want to fall apart. We want to get the things done that we need to get done in decency and in order. We want our stuff to be excellent, not half done. We don't want that. We want things that we do to be perfect. So just these 3 questions can help you figure out if you should say yes or if you should say no. At the end of the day, what the true message is that I'm trying to get across to us on today, it is simply okay to say no. This episode title is called The Ministry of No. I want you to know, K-N-O-W, that it is okay to say no, N-O. Guys, sometimes we have to do it. Sometimes we literally have to do it. God hasn't called us to do everything. We have a purpose, we have a calling, we have a plan on our lives, but God doesn't want us to be burnt out. God doesn't want us to not get any sleep, to not get any rest. God wants us to excel in those things that we want to do. So, like I said, if you say yes to everything, you're going to be burnt out. Your mental health is not going to be there. You are going to go crazy. And I've been there. Trying to do everything, trying to figure out how, writing down 50 things in my planners, double booking. How am I going to do everything? I found out that I can't. While I may be called to many things, I can't do everything. So, like I said, you're going to burn yourself out and ultimately not have the ability to do any of the things that you really need to do. Guys, there's a huge difference between need and want. What do I need to do and what do I yearn and want to do? Guys, I need to get my schoolwork done. I want to have a job and to earn extra money. But if the time comes where the job is becoming more of a hindrance and the job is being a hindrance on my schoolwork, I can no longer do the job. But I have to do the schoolwork in which I need to do. Need and want are two different things. What do I need to do? What do I want to do? So guys, take the time to be alone with no distraction. Take the time to get some rest. Sleep is important. Sleep is important. While we may not get 8 hours, sleep is important. You can't just not sleep. So get some rest. Figure out and prioritize what is best for your mental health. It's even necessary, guys, to take some days off. Guys, just recently, I just took a day off where I said, you know what, I'm not going to do much. I'm going to treat myself to Smoothie King. I'm going to treat myself to Smoothie King, get me a smoothie. I'm going to just relax, do the schoolwork that I need to do, but not put too much pressure on me. Sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's important to take a day off, to take some time to be alone with no distractions, no people around you, getting the noise out your ears, but just being there, just being present in what you need to do. And then, guys, there are times in which you need to be social with people. There are times you got to get out there and be social. You got to get out there and go to that party. You got to get out there and talk to that friend and be with that group of people and laugh. Guys, I love to laugh. So I know that there are times when I need to be around people, and there are times when I just need to step back. I need to be alone. I need to shut myself in my room and just be alone. And guys, it is perfectly okay to be with people, and it is perfectly okay to be alone. The Bible says there is a time and a season for everything. Your season may be to be alone and to focus on yourself. And then you may be in a season where God is telling you to help people out, to be with those people, to encourage people. Guys, there is a time and season for everything. But be clear with the distinction of knowing when to put each of these things to play. Remember to prioritize what is best for your mental health, to get rest, to take necessary days off, to take time to be alone with no distraction, to be social and to be with people. We have to know when and have discernment enough to understand when we should do these things. Guys, it's time for Monyae's motivation. Monyae's motivation today is to reevaluate how effective you are in the everyday tasks that you are a part of. Are you giving your all to what you are doing? And guys, most importantly, make sure that what you're doing is what you need to do. Always put the necessities first. Always put your needs first, and then you can add the wants and the extracurricular activities that you want to do. Now, since music really helps me reflect, let's take these last moments of today's episode to reflect on what we must do differently in our lives today. Let's think about what is going to get our time. Let's think about what's going to get our talent. And let's think about what's going to get our treasure. Special thanks again to my family for the help with this podcast and the birthing of this podcast in our car. I want to thank you for stressing the importance of getting rest and ultimately being well, physically, spiritually, and mentally. Guys, until the next time, Small Talk, the podcast.